Hello, everyone.
Hello. My name is Emily Kuda, and I'm Percona's Digital Marketing Manager. We'll begin in just a moment. First, I just want to conduct a bit of housekeeping. Can you raise your hand using the hand icon located in the GoToWebinar control panel to let me know that you can hear me? Great. Next, during this webinar, you will be on mute. Should you have any questions during the discussion, please enter them in the questions field within the control panel. At the end of the webinar, we'll take time to answer as many questions as possible. Those that aren't addressed will be answered in a follow-up blog entry on Percona's database performance blog. In addition, a recording of the webinar will be made available to everyone within 48 hours or less, along with the slides. So with that said, I'd like to thank you for attending today's webinar, Percona Software News and Roadmap Update for this quarter in 2017, presented by Percona CEO Peter Zaitsev. Take it away, Peter.
Yeah, well, thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily. Let's get started. And today I will update you about the stuff we've been busy in the fourth quarter of 2016, as well as highlight of some things we are working on right now and which we'll be releasing in the Q1 2017, or maybe a little bit afterwards. Now, well, the reason for setting up this call on a quarterly basis is really what, as I talk to many of our users and customers, they ask me about getting updates, and I learn what many really don't have a full picture about what Percona has been working on, and this is a way to for me to provide a good overview of what we have been up to. So we're going to talk about services, Percona software, as well as what we are working on right now. First, let me give you an overview of Percona solutions and services. And I think in this case, it's important to start by mentioning their Percona purpose, which is to champion unbiased open source database solutions. So what that really means for us is what we are really very much committed to open source, and we're really committed to providing the solutions which actually works best for the given particular use case, no matter whether that is software which we create, or if that's software which done by somebody else in the ecosystem. Now, what that also means from a software side is what we write software to really offer you a better solution. And then there are some good solutions which already exists in the open source community. We don't really we don't really tend to spend our resources on reinventing the wheels, but actually looking to pick up, promote, and improve what exists out there. You will find, me repeatedly mentioned through this presentation, is what all Percona software is 100% open source. And I do that because even though we try to mention that on every corner of our website, I always run into folks which are confused, right? Which tell me, oh, yes, your software is open source, but not clustering, right? You have to pay for clustering. No, with Percona, the cluster is also completely open source, and there is no special commercial-only edition. When they tell me, well, that means probably your monitoring is open source. And then I would explain them what, no, with Percona, our monitoring solution is also open source, even though that is something which most other vendors have only available with some enterprise features. Now, besides open source, we are really focused on finding solutions which to maximize your success, finding pretty much solutions which work best for your circumstances. And we believe at Percona is what's in the open source first approach. What that means is everything being equal, we believe the open source software is best for cost reasons, for flexibility reasons, for innovation reasons. We are not open source software zealots, and we work with many commercial software vendors as well, because frankly there are many areas where no good open source software exists. But at the same time, we love open source and we want to champion open source as a whole. Through that, we worked with a lot of our customers to really help them with the open source database strategy as a whole, whether that only touches the MySQL or MongoDB, or they are looking on some other more broad set of solutions. We are pretty vested. We are pretty vested in the open source database community as a whole. And really, our approach here is what no lock-in required for our software. Our all software is open source. We don't want you to be locked in because you with the software licenses. What we want you to be locked in because our services which come with our software are so good, you are not choosing to live without them, right? Sort of lock in through love rather than chains is what is our approach. We also support a pretty broad software ecosystem. You will see in those cases that not every components out there is really done by Percona, and I think that is what we are unique about. In addition to having our software such as Percona or Percona XtraDB cluster, we support MySQL, we support MariaDB, we support cloud solutions like Amazon RDS and Google Cloud SQL. We support the MongoDB Community Edition. So we really take a look at what solutions really people are using successfully in the MySQL and MongoDB ecosystems, and we support all of them. So you can really choose what is the best, not what what carries the name of one of the vendors in the ecosystem. Now, we also have been focusing a lot on different options, such as platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and these are examples of a technology which we work very closely about. We understand pretty well when you are using MySQL and MongoDB technologies, you are not operating in a vacuum anymore. And there is a lot of experience needed to understand how to run it in Amazon Cloud, or how to integrate MySQL in the Docker. And we at Percona have both experience and relationship to ensure your success on those platforms. If you look at our business focus, we are really focused on building long-term partnership relationships through support and managed services, because we believe that is really the best way to approach a problem of really following the best practices of MySQL and MongoDB development and operations. Because if you just come to us for consulting once, we often help you to resolve the problems, but often without kind of constant work together, the results are not really as good as if we can establish a long-term relationship. If you look at our services overview or our subscription services overview, you can see that structured as essentially three different tiers. Our basic tier is Percona Support, which provides you basics. That's your kind of standard enterprise-grade support, which is 24/7, operational support, software support, expert advice. If you're looking for something more than that, we have a service which is called Percona Care. There we can package our support services with a technical account manager, with regular check-in, with scheduled on-sites, scheduled checkups, and other activities which is a suite of our proactive services. And finally, there is a Percona Care Ultimate, and this is for a team which don't really want to care internally or be irresponsible internally for their database operations. This is for a team who wants to give out this responsibility for database operations to us. And then we can take care for all the database operations from the ground up, including first response for 24/7 monitoring, scheduled reviews, capacity planning, and everything which is needed to ensure successful operations. Now, in addition to those subscription services, we have also consulting and training, which we can do on-site and remote. And this typically goes from 4-hour engagements, or in some cases we worked with customers for many weeks and months on the regular basis. Sometimes we do projects, for example, to help somebody with the migration to a new data center or a MySQL upgrade. Sometimes we perform that through the staff augmentation. So, for example, maybe the DBA has left, or maybe there's a temporary or permanent need to get some more resources in the team. We can provide that through our consulting practice. Now let's mention a few of the new things which came in our services. One is, I mentioned this on the last call as well, is what we have advanced havability included with Enterprise and Premier support. We made a choice not to have that as a separate option because we believe for modern system the havability is really absolute requirement. It's not an option anymore, and most systems, which are serious business systems, are built with a high availability environment. And through that, we cover the most commonly used the MySQL havability features. And you can see in this case is what we are covering both the major variants of Galera-based clustering. Percona XtraDB cluster, MariaDB Galera cluster, as well as Galera cluster for MySQL, as well as alternative technology from MySQL team at Oracle, MySQL group replication, which just became available. And I want to repeat that, right? If you hear somebody, oh, you know what, but Percona will force you to run Percona XtraDB cluster, that is not the case. We are going to be there for you wherever your choice is. If your choice is to run MySQL group replication, that's fine. If a Percona XtraDB cluster works better for you, that's fine too. And remember, we don't charge you for software, so there is no really financial incentive for us to push you to the Percona named product. Our only focus in this case and our only commitment is to maximize your success. We also have recently announced support for enterprise-wide support agreements. And this is a very unique proposal in industry on 2 levels. One, now we allow you to cover both MySQL and MongoDB installation as a part of the same contract. And B, we don't require you to count number of servers, which we found it becomes increasingly complicated for some large organizations. If you think about virtualization, using Docker, using cloud, many organizations, they don't really know very well what is exact number of MySQL systems we are running. And we believe it's the best for organization to make sure we have all their MySQL MongoDB instances covered, so the developers can ask the questions, they can report the problems, they encourage in test environment and development environment, not only production. That allows to really run MySQL MongoDB according to best practices and really build the applications in the best way possible. And that is what the Percona enterprise-wide agreements provide. Our enterprise-wide agreements will also allow a more customized coverage. You have some special requirements in terms of compliance or indemnification or special data handling. We can do a lot more customization in our enterprise-wide support agreements compared to your standard support agreements. Now, last quarter, I mentioned what we have implemented Zendesk, one of the leading industry-leading systems for customer service. And now we have been using that for about 6 months, and we have their customer satisfaction numbers. We have achieved 98% of customer satisfaction on consistent basis over the last 3 months. And these are fantastic results. We're very happy about those. These are across among the industry leaders, and we are very happy to see those, even though these are our first 6 months with products where we still have been working out some kinks in how we're working with Eventum. Now, of course, I believe we shouldn't stop there, and we at Percona are constantly working in how can we do even better for our customers. With that, we have launched our customers success team, which is a team which is going to be really focused on making you happy and successful with Percona services, and to ensure what you are getting most out of your Percona services subscription, and you are aware what we can do for you. What we learned with many of our customers, what they may not understand how much value we can really offer for them. For example, they only come to us for support when problems happen, so not really engage with us, our support services on the consultant kind of advisory role, right? To talk about planning the architecture for applications or some application-specific task, where we can help you to build faster, better, more secure applications, and not only deal with the problems when they happen. We also are continuing working on improving our managed services best practices. Now, we have been working a lot on making sure what we are unified our approach on standard deployment, standard platform based on the best practices in the industry. We have worked a lot on increasing automation and reducing noise in the alerts, and continue working on reducing the number of mistakes from the automation. And we also have implemented their organizational challenges. So when we are, especially when we're dealing with very complicated VIP customers which have a large team, very complicated environments, we can really provide them very personal services, when we can really deeply embed with their organizations and really understand their environment and their business very well. Another change we have is what we have just launched at the Percona online store, which allows you to buy stuff easier and pay monthly, which has a select set of Percona products. Like, for example, you will find you can buy the standard support here, but if you want to buy the enterprise-wide agreements, you will have to talk to our sales team, which is really allows you to purchase their support contracts or MySQL health audit very quickly, easily paid, put it on the card, and having the monthly payments instead of prepaying for the year, which I think is a very good solution for small teams which maybe have a hard time to budget for prepaying for a whole year in advance. Okay, with that, let me move to cover Percona software. Again, as I mentioned, the Percona software principles, 100% free and open source. There is no restricted enterprise version. We don't do open core. We don't do BS licenses. Well, by the way, that's a real license name. I haven't named it, but I think that's suited pretty well. So what's the software? Well, probably one of the best-known products of Percona is Percona Server. The latest version of Percona Server is Percona Server MySQL 5.7, which is 100% comparable with MySQL 5.7, and which includes alternatives to many MySQL enterprise features as open source. For example, we have auditing, we have solution for pluggable authentication, for enterprise scalability alternatives, and some other. We also include DB storage engine, which is their storage engine which is write optimized and which allows you to get a very high level of compression. So we see that's being used very well either for data archiving or for using in the cloud when compression and as much using the less storage can offer very substantial cost advantages. In addition to those things, we have a lot of focus on performance and operational visibility. So we really, Percona Server is really the tuned MySQL variant for demanding workloads. If you are just running your blog posts, let's say your personal blog, and it happens to have, about 10 visitors a day, then in this case, Percona Server is not, you're probably not going to need that. If that's something demanding application, you are likely to realize that. So what are our latest improvements? We have a number of improvements for DB. We improved the space allocation algorithms for certain cases which can dramatically improve performance. You can follow this bit.ly link from the slides when you get those to learn more details. We also have a directory per database layout, which we have a lot of folks asking that, which didn't want to see ton of DB files in the MySQL root directory, which is kind of not convenient to manage. That's fixed. Working with Pinterest together, we have implemented the new feature called column compression, which is fantastic feature for working with some small JSON or XML objects, which can really offer you the significant space savings, which with significantly less overhead compared to InnoDB built-in compression. Right now, it has been released in Percona Server 5.6 only, but it's also going to be released as part of Percona Server 5.7 and Percona XtraDB Cluster 5.7 relatively soon. And also, I think we worked a lot over the last few weeks is with security. There have been really over the last several months there is a lot of focus in the industry on security, and there have been number of security issues discovered in all the MySQL variants, and in Percona Server have been one of the first vendors to really get the security, the patched versions available to everyone. So what is about to be released? Well, we are working on integration of DB in performance schema, which is right now in the QA. We are also working on MyRox integration in Percona Server. This is a very well-known RoxDB storage engine by Facebook. Integrating storage engine is a lot of work, right? So that is not imminent, but we are working very hard and allocating a lot of resources, making MyRox integrate is in Percona Server as fast as possible. We are also working on the MySQL group replication. Well, actually, it's going to be included in MySQL in next Percona Server 5.7 release, but we are also working internally to see how we can support that better in terms of monitoring, in terms of supporting Percona Toolkit and other kind of support which is needed across the Percona set of tools. And also, we are starting to look towards MySQL 8. We haven't done a lot of the integration work right now, but we are starting to look at the changes because there is a lot of great changes in the MySQL 8, but that will also take significant work for us to integrate all the work we have done together with MySQL 8 when it becomes released. The next piece is Percona XtraBackup, which is, I would claim, the #1 open source binary hot backup solution for MySQL, or more specifically for InnoDB and storage, InnoDB and XtraDB storage engines. This is pretty much alternative to MySQL Enterprise Backup, and it has a lot of great features. It can take backs in parallel, incremental backups. It can do streaming, encryption, and it really supports their most important MySQL variants out there. With Percona XtraBackup 2.4, since the last time we spoke, there are those new features have been added. We have added the new support for SSH 256 passwords and secure connection to a server. So, for example, right now, if you only require SSL connections to your MySQL servers, you can still get Percona XtraBackup to connect to that. We have improved security in Percona XtraBackup. You can check out with this CVE number for more details if you're interested. And now we also have a wrong passphrase detection. What that means is now Percona XtraBackup is able to react instantly if you enter a wrong passphrase. Where recently we did not have a way to do that, and you could get the whole kind of backup decrypted to garbage, and only spot that problem when you try to apply logs, which simply wouldn't work. Percona Toolkit is our Swiss Army knife of tools for MySQL ecosystem, which really helps DBAs to be more efficient and to do less mistakes by automating repetitive tasks. It really supports their most important MySQL variants. And for this tool, because of the nature of it, they are also able to support a cloud environment such as Amazon RDS MySQL. Some things can also work with Amazon Aurora when appropriate. So what we are working on in Percona Toolkit right now is we really improved fingerprinting in PT Query Digest, especially when you deal with some, let's say, database with numbers in them. We also implement the support with called pause file for PT online schema change. We have been asking people, saying, hey, how can we implement a way for PT online schema change to pause for some reason? Right? For some large tables, this PT online schema change process could go for many days, right? So sometimes stopping it and starting over would not be the best way. And we also worked on providing information for transparent huge pages. Recently, we had a lot of problems with the MySQL deployments where transparent huge pages were enabled to give a JMalloc, which would cause excessive memory allocation. So what's coming to Percona Toolkit? Well, we're now working towards Percona Toolkit 3.0 release, and this will include a couple of important changes. One is we are starting adding some tools to support MongoDB in addition to MySQL. And then we are also getting the new tools which are implemented in Go instead of Perl. This seems to be the more modern and a better language where a lot of modern operational tools are being written in. Percona Server MongoDB. This is our 100% compatible implementation for my MongoDB Community Edition. Again, it's 100% open source, and it also includes alternatives to many MongoDB enterprise features, such as pluggable authentication and auditing. We also additionally include a couple of additional storage engine. One is MongoRox, this kind of the same LSM-based RoxDB storage engine created by Facebook, which really works very well for optimized workloads, as well as Percona Memory Engine, which is storage engine which stores all the data in memory. And I think this is a very interesting what now we really have their storage engines in Percona Server for MongoDB for really the large variety of workloads which exist. If you're running your kind of traditional read-write OLTP workloads where built-in WireTiger is a great storage engine. If you are really having something that is as demanding write-bound workloads, then RogueDB, which is LSM-based and write-optimized storage engine, is available in Percona Server for MongoDB. And then if you really have requirements for this low latency, very predictable in-memory workloads, then we have Percona Memory Engine for MongoDB. And all of those are available as an open source for you. So what's new? Well, I think I spoke for majority of those, right? This is there are new things which we implemented in Percona Server in MongoDB, and here are some benchmarks numbers. On this page, you can see Percona Memory Engine for MongoDB compared with WireTiger, both on the spinning disk as well as on the high-performance SSD. And you see in both cases, Percona Memory Engine offers significantly better throughput, and what is especially important, much more important, stability, right? There is not as much variance. This is example comparing MongoRogues with WireTiger for write-intensive workloads. And we can see in this case, RogueDB offers significantly better performance as well as much more consistent performance compared to WireTiger, which really tends to choke with sustained workloads for doing checkpoints. So what are we working on for MongoDB? We are working on Percona Server for MongoDB 3.4, which will be again fully compatible with MongoDB 3.4 Community Edition, which will include updated RogueDB storage engine, as well as even in Percona Server for MongoDB 3.2, we have implemented the universal backup, which is a backup which is built in this server, which works both for WireTiger and MongoRogues, as well as we implemented a feature which we found very useful in MySQL, which you call profile rate limiting, or you can also call it query sampling, which allows us to sample a set of queries from MongoDB workload, let's say 1% of the queries, and to analyze a performance of the queries much better, similar to what we can do in MySQL. Percona XtraDB cluster is our highly available solution for MySQL, which is based on Percona Server, and which is really, we focus on that as very easy way to bring availability in your MySQL environment. It's really designed from the ground up to work well in the cloud, and it provides you master replication with no conflicts, right? So you won't have the problems where, oh, I accidentally written some data to the MySQL slave, which I wasn't supposed to do, and now my replication broke, and I have to figure out how to repair that. Nothing like that happens with Percona XtraDB cluster. The cluster just takes care about that. And it has an automatic node provisioning for scaling and self-healing. Now, I have this node available tomorrow here. Actually, that is wrong. I just forgot to remove that. It has been available right now for several months, and it has been working very well and proved itself as a quite stable piece of software. Now, if you look at our goals for PXE 5.7 specifically, what we wanted to do better in this release is we wanted to take the development in-house and really build up a team where we can really provide the complete, easy-to-use clustering solution, which is user-friendly, which is mature, ready to use in the enterprise, and really comes as a complete solution, not a set of Lego pieces. and focus on usability, focus on quality, focus on security. So what exists in Percona XtraDB cluster? Well, one thing we have done, we integrate cluster with a really great load balancer called Proxy SQL. We make it very easy to set up, and you can really have your application using the cluster without single point of failure in no time. We have implemented instrumentation with performance schema for ease of performance analysis. We support data at rest encryption, right? Also called in a DB table space encryption. And what we also have done is we implemented what we call a strict mode. The Percona XtraDB cluster is mostly compatible with MySQL, but there are some features which do not really transfer very well to that kind of cluster multi-node environment. And if a strict mode, we make sure we disable those features instead of making them work and making them work incorrectly. So, for example, in a previous version of a PXE and in the current versions of MySQL, in the Galera-based solutions, you can create MySum tables, you can, write to them, and it will kind of work, but those tables won't be replicated. And we have actually customers report a very significant data loss because of that kind of behavior. In Percona XtraDB cluster, you cannot create MySum tables because they don't work. Of course, if you need to disable that safety for compatibility reasons, we have that feature, but out of the box, it either works or it fails with helpful error message, which is as I believe software should work. We also make the integration with Percona monitoring management, so you can very easy monitor PXE cluster right now. What has been new in the last few months in PXE 5.7? One is we implemented the option to secure all network communication in PXE. Many customers were telling to us what they want secure communication, and it is very complicated to set up in PXE and other Galera solutions. Right? There is inter-traffic communication. There is also something else where SST goes on, and there is a lot of settings how to configure that. Now, in PXE 5.7, it's very easy. You just set one option, PXE encrypt cluster traffic, and it will care about ensuring that all the communication inside the cluster is using the security. The other great feature we added is a zero downtime maintenance with PostgreSQL and adding a maintenance mode to a cluster. What that means pretty much is when you want to shut down the node, right, or if you want to take it down for maintenance, instead of becoming immediately unavailable, we have a node which signals to the proxy what it's about to go down or become inaccessible, and it allows the proxy to move the traffic to the other nodes, which work very well, particularly for the application which tend to have short transactions. And you can essentially shut down the nodes for maintenance without application seeing any kind of problems, having to reestablish connection or anything like that, which I think is really fantastic for a lot of applications with very high uptime requirements. Percona Monitoring in Management is our comprehensive database-focused monitoring solutions. It's a 100% open source solution. It's easy to install, but that is your own solution. It doesn't require you to send in all your data in the cloud and paying subscription fees. And it supports both MySQL and MongoDB as well as variants. Version 1.0 is focused on the trending and the query analysis, but then we are planning to extend the number of features in this tool to include the management features as well, hence the name, which is future-proof. Let me show some of the cool features we have out here. like one of the things we found a lot of people need help with is finding out, okay, what queries are causing the load on the system. And Percona Monitoring Management provides a very easy way to do that, understand what queries causing that, as well as through those spark lines, you can see the trends, right? Did it just happen? Was it a gradual ramp up or something else? We can also look why those queries are causing this load. So for example, if I drill down to this query, I can say, hey, well, this query has been spending about 15% of its time waiting on query logs and 10% of the time waiting on disk I/O. Having that information, I can understand what can I do and how I can optimize this query. We can also provide the information about how to fix it. On the same single one page, you have all the most important tools to understand what's going on with your queries and how to fix them. You can see, for example, explain the query you're looking at. You can take a look at create tables which we are using, so you can see what indexes there exists. You can take a look at the table status, for example, to check out how many rows there are or how much space it takes on disk and so on and so forth. Typically, those are enough to understand the troubles with the query in majority of the cases. We also provide the integration with Percona Toolkit tools of MySQL summary and the system summary, so you can get the single page overview, what has been running of this node, the MySQL version, hardware information, all the kind of settings and other stuff, which is very handy if you are working with a large set of servers and you may not remember everything about each of them. We also have a lot of great dashboards. We have, I think, more than 30 dashboards and hundreds of different graphs how you can understand with your load what's going on, both in the operating system in the hardware level, as well as you can take a look at the database level. Like you can see number of queries, number of active threads, and much more details out there. Now, if you're curious but you don't want quite to go through a hassle of installing this software yet, I would suggest you to check out our PMM demo Percona.com. This is where we have PMM setup monitoring like 10 or different MySQL and MongoDB installation, and you can really play with that and see most of its cool features in action. Okay, so what I have been doing with Percona Monitoring Management, and well, this product gets a lot of attention for that, and this is evolving very rapidly. Partly through our own effort, and partly through because we really work through integrating best-of-breed components from communities such as Prometheus, such as Grafana, and that means is wherever is created by those communities, we can really integrate, and through that we sort of get empowered by much larger community engineering team than if you would have implemented that software just in-house. We are continuing to work on improving the dashboards of every release. We now ship Grafana 4.0, which includes some basic support for alerting. We have added the SSL support for server-to-agent communication, right? If you don't want that to be kind of going in a clear text through a network, you now don't have to. Support authentication between the server and agent, again, to give you a little bit more security. We added support for Amazon RDS, and we also make this more efficient. So now for tracking the metrics, we are using 2 to 3 times less space through using more advanced compression features in the new versions of Prometheus. So what's coming up? Well, one is a PMM server right now is distributed as a Docker image, and as much world loves Docker, not everybody yet is ready to deploy it as a Docker. So we are providing the more ways to deploy that, which will be as a My image, which you can just spin up on Amazon Cloud if you want to, as well as a virtual appliance, which you can use for VirtualBox or VMware, which you can spin up with Vagrant, so in different ways. We're working on better MongoDB dashboards, and in general continuing to work on the dashboards improvements. We are continue working on a query analytics application, both in terms of more features as well as polishing its usability. And the thing to mention here is that we are, as a short term, we are mainly focused on the monitoring functionality, because we want to make sure we polish that before we really commit a lot of resources to management, because we would rather see this product for Naver do one thing but do it really well than to do a lot of things but kind of not particularly well, any of them. Well, as a reminder, Percona Live in Santa Clara is not quite right around the corner, but this is a very good time to get a ticket and to start talking to your boss to get a budget to attend. This is really a great learning experience, and I think great experience in iOS. So we would very much encourage you to attend or even come up as a sponsor. And remember, there is this early bird pricing running right now until this January 31st. So hurry up if you want to get the best tickets. And we are even giving an extra 15% off as webinar attendees. Well, this is all I had for you guys today, and now I would be happy to take any questions if there's any.
Thank you so much for that, Peter. So, like Peter said, we'll take questions now. Go ahead and enter them in the questions field down below. With that said, our first question is, like you said, XtraDB backup is #1 backup tool for MySQL. Do you plan to extend XtraDB backup repository functionality with backup exit completion status?
Backup exit completion status.
Yes.
Well, I'm not quite sure, right? What exactly that question is about. But you know, feel free to email me more details, and I will happy to look into it. Right? If there is some issues in the product, right, we obviously want to correct them, right, if something goes behind them.
Our next question is Percona thinking about how to implement DARE, data at rest encryption, for MongoDB product?
Well, that is very good question, right? So we are they're thinking about that. So our current solution for encryption for MongoDB is encryption at the file level, or sort of at the file system level, right? So which you can use. We currently do not provide encryption on the storage engine level in MongoDB.
Our next question is, any integration of the PMM with a third-party APM company like New Relic, AppDynamics, etc.?
Well, that is a very good question, right? So in this case, we have the plans to integrate it in the future. Right now, what exists out there is integration through Grafana. So if you look at the Grafana alerting, it does integrate with certain systems like, for example, you can send the alert information directly to Slack or PagerDuty and some others. Not quite APM, right, from a different angle, but you can do that. But in general, we'll be looking for opportunity how that can be integrated with the different systems. Now, what I would say is right now we have a number of people which would use both PMM and APM solutions at the same time. They can be used together. They don't conflict, and you would find in many cases what the application developers, for example, would use New Relic to find out what's going on, right? And then you'd find, oh my gosh, I see the database is being slow and some of my queries are responding slowly right now. But then you can go to the PMM to understand what exactly has been, to kind of drill down much deeper and to understand what has been happening at that time and what was the cause of those issues. And, that is not a complete integration, but they can be used pretty successfully even right now.
Our next question is, Percona thinking of entering into the Postgres world?
Oh, well, that's a loaded good question. Well, I would say as follows, right? What we are not committing expanding our portfolio beyond MongoDB and MySQL as of right now, right? We are looking at what other cool technologies, database technologies exist in open source space, and where we should go next. At the same time, I think there is a lot of very interesting developments in Postgres community. That's why we have been working more closely with Postgres community recently. So we had the PostgreSQL track at Percona Live Amsterdam. We'll also have a one in Percona Live Santa Clara, because wherever Percona chooses to go in Postgres market space or not, I think the PostgreSQL community and MySQL community really have a lot to learn through each other. And I think through learning both on the user level and developer levels, we can really advance their open source database agenda as a whole. And that is what really we are all about at Percona, at the big picture.
Okay, great. Our next question is EnoDB by default statically compiled into MySQL D with 5.7?
Yes. Yeah. So for all the at least MySQL versions, the EnoDB is not a plugin anymore. That is really embedded in MySQL. So you just install their MySQL server, and it comes with a version of EnoDB it comes with. In Percona Server, we also often refer to our modified, improved storage engine, XtraDB, but you wouldn't see the difference besides the performance and some other advanced features. You will still show variables as EnoDB. You will see EnoDB in your show create table and so on and so forth, right? So I'm just clarifying that a little bit, because thinking that that's maybe where the question is coming from.
Okay. Our next question, we may need a little bit more info on this, but I'll read it. How come there's not much or at all support for Microsoft Windows operating system?
That is a very good question. Now, in fact, we do support a number of customers, help them to run MySQL on Windows, we do not really invest a lot of time making our software run on Windows. And the reason for that is we are most focused on making sure that our customers get the open source platform first and foremost. And if you're running Windows, then then the open source, your platform is not going to be completely open source. So I think that's the main explanation out
there. Okay. And our last question is, can we take DB backup and push it to Git?
Can you take database backup and push it to Git? Well, interesting question, right? So, if you for a large production database, your backups are typically so large you don't want to push them in Git, right? That is they wouldn't be very good in binary, and even in text that's would be volumes far beyond what Git is handling. Now, I have seen for some very small backups, let's say you have a very tiny database and you're taking MySQL dump and putting that to a Git, so you may be able to sort of have a versioning, right, and you really understand how your data changed through a time very easily. Now, where we see it's used even more, when not the database data put in the Git, but actually the database schema, right? So you, for example, have your application which have some scripts to create the database, and those scripts, or which may be essentially the MySQL dump of a database, are under version control. So that makes it very easy to say, oh, you know what, I added the index yesterday, I added an extra field 2 weeks ago and stuff like that, right? Yes, so so that can be feasible.
All right. Well, that's actually the end of our questions for today. So with that said, I just wanted to remind everybody that a copy of today's webinar will be sent along with the slides and the recording. I wanted to thank you for attending today's webinar. Thank you so much, Peter, for presenting. And everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, well, thank you for attending. Have a great day or whatever time of day there is for you or everyone. Thank you.